If you thought summer had arrived quietly across Canada, think again. On the very day the summer solstice began, parts of Alberta were hit by a historic rainfall event that turned roads into rivers, overwhelmed drainage systems, and triggered emergency water conservation alerts across multiple communities. What unfolded around Edmonton was not an ordinary rainstorm. In some areas, more than 100 millimeters of rain fell in a relatively short period of time, making this one of the most significant June rainfall events in recent memory. Welcome everyone. Here is the latest weather update as we take a closer look at the flooding rains that have impacted central Alberta and why this event is already being talked about as one of the most remarkable weather stories of the season. The setup began with a slow-moving low-pressure system becoming stalled over the prairies. Instead of moving quickly eastward, the system remained nearly stationary, continuously drawing moisture into central Alberta. As wave after wave of rain moved across the same locations, rainfall totals began climbing rapidly throughout Sunday. Many communities across central Alberta recorded between 50 and 100 millimeters of rain, with some local areas receiving even higher amounts. The Edmonton region was among the hardest-hit locations. At Edmonton International Airport, 63.8 millimeters of rain was recorded in a single day. That amount alone is extraordinary because the airport typically receives around 74 millimeters during the entire month of June. In other words, nearly a full month's worth of rainfall fell in just one day. Weather records dating back decades show this was one of the rainiest June days ever recorded in the Edmonton area. And the story becomes even more impressive when looking at the month as a whole. So far this June, nearly 190 millimeters of rain has been recorded around Edmonton, making it one of the wettest Junes ever observed. Remarkably, there is still time remaining in the month, meaning additional rainfall could push totals even higher. As the rain continued to fall, problems quickly developed across the region. Flooded streets were reported in several communities, with water pooling on major roadways and creating hazardous driving conditions. Low-lying areas became particularly vulnerable as drainage systems struggled to keep up with the relentless rainfall. Residents reported large sections of standing water in neighborhoods, parking lots, and intersections. In some areas, water levels rose high enough to enter homes and buildings. Social media quickly filled with photos and videos showing flooded streets, submerged vehicles, and water leaking into basements. Many homeowners spent hours attempting to protect their properties from rising water. But flooding was not the only concern. The enormous amount of runoff placed tremendous pressure on municipal wastewater systems throughout the Edmonton region. Several communities, including Beaumont, Leduc County, and St. Albert, issued urgent requests asking residents to immediately reduce water usage. Officials warned that wastewater infrastructure was struggling to handle the volume of stormwater entering the system. Residents were asked to avoid non-essential water use wherever possible. That included limiting showers, postponing laundry, avoiding dishwashers, and reducing toilet flushing whenever practical. These types of requests are relatively uncommon and highlight just how overwhelmed local infrastructure became during the peak of the rainfall event. The reason this happened comes down to both rainfall intensity and duration. Many storms produce heavy rainfall for an hour or two before moving away. This event was different. The low-pressure system remained nearly stationary, allowing rain bands to repeatedly pass over the same communities for many hours. Meteorologists often refer to this as a training effect, where storm cells continuously move across the same corridor like train cars moving along a track. When that happens, rainfall totals can increase very quickly and dramatically raise the risk of flooding. The timing also made this event particularly unusual. June is normally associated with thunderstorms, sunshine, and warming temperatures across Alberta. Instead, the summer solstice arrived with widespread flooding concerns and record-setting rainfall. For many residents, it was certainly not the start to summer they expected. Looking ahead, attention now shifts toward river levels, drainage systems, and lingering flood impacts. Even after rainfall ends, runoff continues flowing into streams, rivers, and low-lying areas. That means water levels can continue rising for some time after the heaviest rain has already passed. Officials will continue monitoring conditions closely across affected communities. Residents living near flood-prone locations should remain alert for changing conditions, especially if additional rainfall develops in the coming days. While weather conditions may gradually improve, the cleanup and recovery process could take considerably longer. Flooded roads may require repairs, drainage systems may need inspection, and homeowners dealing with water damage could face days or even weeks of recovery efforts. What makes this event stand out is not only the impressive rainfall totals but also the widespread impacts it created across multiple communities simultaneously. From flooded streets and overwhelmed infrastructure to emergency water conservation measures, this storm demonstrated how quickly extreme rainfall can disrupt daily life. As summer officially begins across Canada, this remarkable Alberta rainfall event serves as a reminder that severe weather can take many forms. Sometimes the biggest weather story is not heat, thunderstorms, or tornadoes. Sometimes it is simply too much rain falling in too short a period of time. And for parts of central Alberta, that is exactly what happened.